Yo. What's going on, man? Today is January the 12th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show where I'm live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Do me a favor, hit the like button for me if you can as you join. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Definitely turn the notification bell on for those Saturday shows if I do decide to do one. I haven't even looked at the card for tomorrow quite yet, but we got a lot of games to discuss today, so we're gonna jump right into it. But first and foremost, I do want to do a recap as I always do. Transparency is, of course, extremely important to me. 0-2 yesterday, minus 2.3 units overall. We took the Dallas Mavericks team. Well, I took the Dallas Mavericks team's total under. That game was it was a crazy day in the NBA yesterday, but that game was pretty much over before it started. Kyrie hit the 2 threes early. Knicks looked like they never played basketball before, and that's why I said the other day that I said the other day that I don't play Knicks, but I thought Knicks plus 1.5 when the line first opened a couple days ago probably looked like the biggest idiot in the world, but that's just the way basketball works. So that was the first loss. The second loss was the Lakers not being able to score the ball. Just really weird night for LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and their offense, just not being able to kind of get it together. I didn't think that they would necessarily win the game, being at the rest disadvantage. Didn't like the Suns enough to take them, but I did think the Lakers would be able to keep up. I don't think about the Phoenix Suns as a defensive team, but last night they were able to hold the Lakers under their team total. So 0-2 day, like I said, minus 2.3 units on the season, 167. Whoa, that is not right. 167, 114 in three. We are still plus 18.63 units on the season, and we need to get that number up. We definitely need to get that number up. I would like to get it up before we get meaningful basketball, even though a lot of the basketball we haven't really seen that meaningful. But neither here nor there. We're going to jump right into it for today. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Real quick, let's go through it. We got Jermaine, my guy. Kenneth, Tasha, good afternoon to you, Tasha, Raptors fan. Okay, watch this. Sean, Justin, Jamie, who recently became a member, Locked and Loaded Sports, Vaughn, Coop, Smoky Steam Bets, Big Marv. Appreciate you guys as well, man. Hobby Noble, yeah, I see Big Marv said Knicks are banned. You can't necessarily ban them, man. This is the way the NBA works, man. Just the way the NBA works. It's unfortunate. Brian, Peter, yeah, I think I forgot what I was doing last night, but I was I was going through I was doing something and the Knicks game had already started, and I looked on my phone, the ESPN app, and I saw the score, and the Knicks were already down like 15. And I was like, "Yep, well, no reason to really watch this game. All the other games were blowouts anyway." I was like, "Yeah, it's probably a good night not to watch basketball." So I really didn't watch a lot of the games yesterday. I know it was crazy. I was checking it. I did watch it. I'm lying. I still watched most of it, but I was like, I'm not about to watch this Knicks game. I knew it was over with from the beginning. When you don't set that tone early on the road, when you're a favorite, you start to give the other team life, and that's what was kind of reported. So let's get into the games for today, man. We got a lot of games to get through. Let's get through them. First game up, we got the 76ers at home. They are laying a point in, I want to say a point and a half. Well, a point is still 1 point right now. 1 point home favorites. Total going up from 239 up to 241 and a half. So some money coming in on the over here. Kevin Huerter status. Do we have an update, like the most recent update on Kevin Huerter? I thought I saw that he's out. So Kevin Huerter's out, which moves Chris Duarte into that starting lineup. For Philly, they'll still be without Joel Embiid. They'll still be without Robert Covington as well. And we just took Philly. We took Philly the other day in Atlanta. I talked about this on the show yesterday. We took them plus the 1.5. And if Tyrese Maxey gets the foul call that he deserved on the last play in the regulation, they definitely end up covering and winning that game outright. But now you get a Philly team off 3 straight losses and 3 straight non-covers. They did go to overtime on Wednesday, so not a spot I typically want to back a team in. Philly also is just 2-7 straight up and 3-6 against the spread without Joel Embiid this season. But if you go through it and kind of look at it, which is what I did, because I think it's kind of telling that Philly is even a favorite. Sacramento has won and covered 2 games in a row to start this road trip. They play in Milwaukee, but that game isn't until Sunday. So I go through and I look at the 76ers games without Joel Embiid, and they've been playing against really, really stiff competition. The first game they played was against the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, the Celtics, the Heat, the Magic, the Rockets. They beat the Rockets. They beat the Magic as well. then the Bulls, the Jazz, and the Hawks. So a lot of these teams, and the Jazz just kind of caught them sleeping, I think. It was the second leg of a back-to-back as well. Last Saturday, because we were on the, I think I don't know if I gave out the Jazz that day or not, but I say all that to say it does feel like the 76ers, them being favorites, tell me that I think that they do probably win this game. Not enough for me to put my hard-earned money on it, though. But I do lean Philly. I think Sacramento started this road trip off a little too hot. They also started it off against some bottom feeders. You beat Detroit, even though you go down by 18 to Detroit in the first quarter. And then they also played against the Charlotte Hornets. And really hard to tell whether Charlotte's going to be good or bad. So not really looking to get involved with Charlotte or Sacramento. But I do lean Philly in this game. Let's go to the chat real quick and see what you guys are saying. Herder getting traded. Steamy Best says he's on the Sixers. Don't trust the Kings. What's up, Brian? Appreciate you for being here. Jamil says, I'm leaning Maxey under points, though. Thoughts? I wouldn't take Maxey under. I don't know if I would take Maxey under this spot, but I would need to dive a little bit more into it, Jamal. I feel like anytime you see a team like lose a game that they should have won, the rest could potentially be on their side, because I'm pretty sure if you go back, I didn't even read the 2-minute report, but I know it was a foul. I know a foul when I see one, and Tyrese Maxey was definitely fouled by Trae Young. They probably get the foul calls tonight, and Sacramento probably cools off. You got a team that's won 2 games in a row versus the team that's lost 3 games in a row. To me, that does give this slight lean. And the team that's lost 3 games in a row is actually a favorite. To me, that points towards Philly in this game. What's up, Joe? Appreciate you for being here. Dwight says Sabonis is going to eat. Couldn't talk you off looking at his props. Jamie likes Sabonis triple-double. How are Kings against real competition? I'm not sure if you could consider the 76ers real competition without Joel Embiid. I don't know how many games this team wins without Joel Embiid. So I guess that's a little conflictual. Quiet Money Will says, what's up, Chris? Let's get to it on Friday. Big shout out to Stem for that Jalen Williams plus 1,200 look yesterday. If it wasn't a blowout, most likely would have cashed. Absolutely, yeah. Stem always giving out the looks, man. He be locked in for sure. Locked and Loaded says he leans Kings and Embiid been playing in and out of the lineup, but I ain't investing in it. Vaughn says strong lean to Philly and Oubre over his threes. What's up to my guy David in the chat as always? Yeah, we trying to go undefeated. I do have 4 plays for you guys today. I did lock in 4 plays. Last night card was so bad, I just went ahead and started capping for today. I gave all the plays out last night at like 10 o'clock. I had already capped the whole card by 10 o'clock yesterday. All the lines are moved in our favor. We'll see what happens. We've got CLV, some closing line value, but I mean, that don't really mean nothing in today's NBA. So let's get back into it. Next game up, we are going to Atlanta. We got the Hawks laying 5.5 at the crib. This number still 5.5. It is. The total has steadily come down from 256.5, which is what it opened at, down to 251.5. And we got to think a couple different ways. So first and foremost, we hate laying points with the Atlanta Hawks. Like who wants to do that? This team is not a team that has been covering, specifically at home. We know that they've been, really, really bad at home, especially covering spreads. This team is just 9-12 straight up at home, and an even worse ATS record. Don't have it right in front of me, but they're not good. They're 3-7 in their last 10 ATS as well. So looking at this Indiana team, I think the injuries are important to note. Capella, I saw as being a toss-up to play. I'm not sure. No, he is actually listed as probable. So with Capella being in, Trae Young also listed as probable. DeJounte Murray, the reports are coming out even 5 minutes before the show. Woj reporting that this Atlanta Hawks team is willing to trade DeJounte Murray. He could literally still get traded before this game gets started. So I would err on the side of caution if you're going to bet Atlanta games, especially if you're looking towards back in Atlanta or you're looking towards taking points, taking any kind of overs, because DeJounte Murray does mean a lot to this team, a lot to the spread, a lot to the total as well. So I would play Atlanta games really, really late if you wanted to get involved. What's interesting in this game is, of course, no Halliburton, and we saw, them really struggle offensively. They only scored 108 points against the Wizards. The Wizards can score. We can put together, a team of 5 with 3 off the bench that could score 108 points against the Wizards just from the YouTube chat and from the Twitter stream right now. And they struggled to do that. And the Wizards aren't great defensively. This Indiana team, I think, is going to try to slow the pace down against Atlanta in this spot. So Indiana is 2-2, straight up 1-2-1 against the spread without Halliburton this season. They're averaging 245 points per game in those 4 games without Halliburton. The first game for them after a long 6-game homestand before they actually go to Denver. They play in Denver on Sunday. On the Atlanta side, like I said, 3-12 against the spread. ATS at home. Last 10, they are 3-7 against the spread. This is the second straight home game and the fourth game of a home stand. They are on the first leg of a back-to-back. They host the Wizards tomorrow, so no real look-ahead spot. But I like fading teams off the overtime game, of course. I love fading teams even more off the overtime game if they won. But I don't know if I can trust Indiana offense quite yet without Halliburton being there. Ultimately, the way I chose to play the game was I played the total. I would still play the total, but I gave this out yesterday at 254 and a half. And it really goes back to, I always talk to you guys about that. And shout out to Ski for putting me on this like 2 years ago or at the beginning of last year. It's just that trend, that really strong trend of when two teams play each other and the total goes under, and then it's within a short time frame and they play again, and the line makers open this total up even lower than the last total. So it's telling you that they're expecting less points. So when I played the total last night, it was 254 and a half. These teams just played last Friday, so literally 1 week ago. That total was actually 262. Now you see the total adjusted 8 points down, or 9 points down now. And since 2013, when teams played within a week and the total was actually lower in the second game than it is in the first game, those games go under 60% of the time. So I'm willing to ride with that trend. It makes sense. You don't have Halliburton there. We saw this like I said, we saw this Indiana team slow the pace down just a tad bit without Halliburton being there. So I like the total to go under. I would still play under 251 and a half as well. I think it's a much slower pace game today. And I think Indiana plays a little bit more defense, which is the way I played this game. Real quick in the comment, I didn't play any props. I'm probably off props for a while. I'm not really looking towards props. Let's see. Shadow says, what do you think about Jalen Johnson points, rebounds, and assists? He could kill in this game, Shadow. I took him last week, though. If you remember, I took Jalen Johnson against this same team. He got in early foul trouble. Could he bounce back today? Absolutely. I'm not touching Jalen Johnson, though. He had a monster game in his last game as well. I think he had a career high. But when I take Jalen Johnson, he does nothing. So best of luck if you're on him. I'm not on him at all. Jamie likes his rebounds over 8.5. Tariq says the Hawks will rest players tomorrow against the Wizards. I don't even really know if you need to rest players. Like, they don't really do a lot of resting. I don't feel like that's a part of their system. Like, they got young players. I don't think they're really resting anybody, Tariq. I could be wrong. Locked and Loaded says Hawks minus 5.5. JJ really amped up this team in a way I didn't expect. Now you have Halliburton out and double revenge. Give me the Hawks. It is a double revenge spot. I'm wary of laying 5.5 with the Hawks. For them to win by multiple possessions is kind of interesting, but I would agree with you. I think that is the right side in this game. I just couldn't play it. Dominique played the Hawks first quarter minus the 1.5, thinking they start early, and that's something that we've seen. Pacers team total under 123.5. Okay, watch this play. That Vaughn says he's on Bruce Brown points, rebounds, and assists over, has 31, 24, and 36 without Halliburton. Should get high usage and a high total. His line is 19.5. That probably is a really good look, Vaughn. I could not talk you off of that game. David says, hear me out. TJ McConnell double-double. No way I could talk you off of that at all, David, especially if the game is played at a faster pace than I kind of anticipate. Raptors fan likes Jalen Johnson double-double. Vaughn says, I like the Hawks first quarter, got blitzed last week by the same Pacers team in Indy. Wait until close to the game time just in case some DeJounte news happens. That's it. If you know underspot. That's what we're talking about. Okay, watch this. Let's see. Locked and Loaded says me and Chris can put up a 20-piece against the Wizards on everything. Yeah, I'll go out there and give you a couple buckets against the Wizards. I ain't gonna lie to you. If they don't put Bilal on me, I'm probably scoring. I'm being completely honest. What up, Fremont? Jeffrey says, does the DeJounte news worry you? No, I mean, he's been on the trading block for a while. He knows it. His agent knows it. Until he gets traded, I don't think it really matters. Remember, in the game on Wednesday against Philly, he was actually downgraded to questionable, and people was thinking that he was going to get traded that day. I was actually thinking he was going to get traded that day, and that's probably why they was putting him on the injury report. He came back and played in that game, was declared in like a couple minutes after the show, went out there and hooped. So, players are able to play through that. They're able to play through the noise. I mean, if you're in Atlanta, everybody on the trading block, all of them, Clint Capella, all of them. They said the only players they wouldn't trade was Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Everybody else was on the market, and that could be a rumor. They could be on the market as well. Probably not Jalen Johnson, but Trae Young could get traded for sure. What up, Will? Appreciate you for being here as well. Let's keep going, man. We got a lot more games to get to. Next game up, we got Rockets. We got Pistons. This line did move, right? It's up to 8.5 now. You guys see 7.5 on the screen. Total did come down from 227, which is what you guys saw, down to 225 and a half in this spot. And I do have a play in this game. Not my best look overall, but I do think that I do think that Houston can still get the job done here. And I laid the points for Houston, understanding that they are not the greatest road team, right? But I feel like we just got to keep finding a way to fade Detroit, and why not continuing to do that? Houston will be shorthanded. They don't have Dylan Brooks still. They don't have Tari Eason. That would make this a whole lot better because the defense is a whole lot better with those two on the floor. But for Detroit, Bogdanovich got listed out. Cade already listed out, and Isaiah Stewart's supposed to come back today, so he could potentially mess things up even more. I'm not even sure how many minutes he's going to play. But looking at Houston, they have actually won 4 straight against Detroit. They've covered 3 and had 1 push in those 4 games off back-to-back losses and non-coverage. So I think we get a sense of urgency from this team. I understand that they have this is the first leg of a back-to-back, and they do play Boston. So you get Udoka versus versus his old team tomorrow. But I think they get smoked tomorrow. I'm curious to see what the spread comes out at, especially with Boston losing the way that they lost yesterday. I think that they absolutely smoke Udoka in the Rockets tomorrow. I can't trust Detroit though. Like I think Detroit is going to lose a large amount of games in a row by double digits. It's just how I feel. So 3rd game in 4 nights for Detroit, 3 straight losses, 3 straight non-covers, 6 straight losses overall. In the 2 games since Cade Cunningham got hurt against the Denver Nuggets a few games last week, Detroit's actually lost by 21 and 22. They lost by 21 to the Kings, lost by 22 to the Spurs. They're allowing 131 points per game in their last 5 games. So when you struggle to score the ball, right, like Houston does, we know Houston's not the greatest offensive team. But when you let the Spurs come in and score whatever it is that they want, and I know the Spurs offense is a little bit better than Houston, but who says Houston can't come in there and fill it up as well? Jalen Green has been struggling. Why not go crazy in this game? Who's guarding Sengun? Fred VanVleet should eat in this game. So based on principles, based on their defense being so poor, I laid the 7.5 before Bogdanovich got ruled out in this game. I think if San Antonio can beat them, Houston can beat them too. Houston is just, like I said, 3-7, 3-12 on the road, but they were favorites just once on the road. They've only been favored one time, and that game happened to come against Minnesota. They won that game and they covered that game. So give me Detroit. I'm sorry, give me the Rockets in this spot. I actually got the banner wrong. That's supposed to say plus 7.5. The Pistons lay in 7.5 probably won't happen for like 5 more years. So give me the Rockets minus the 7.5 in this spot, and let's keep it going. All right. So real quick, I didn't look at player props. Like I said, I'm off of that. Smokey Steam best like the Rockets in the first half. He said they need to get right tonight because they probably know tomorrow will be a tough spot. And I would agree with that, man. I think you take out all your frustration from these losses that you just had. They probably feel like they could have won that game against Chicago the other day. Chicago's a much better defensive team, and they still almost won that game. So yeah, I like them as well. I couldn't talk you off the first half. Captain Zach says, how you feeling about Sengun going over his assist prop at 5.5 at plus 124 on FanDuel? Taking a look at Detroit's last 5 games, Wemby had 10, Sabonis had 13, Joker had 16, triple-double spot. Absolutely, Captain Zach. I could not talk you off. Sengun could go crazy in this spot. Do whatever it is you want with those numbers. If Fred VanVleet doesn't get 10 assists, then it'll probably be Sengun that gets 10 assists. One of them will probably get 10 assists. Detroit is god-awful. Let's see. Kenneth says he took Houston money line with the Pacers under 258.5 at plus 102. I think that's a winner, Kenneth. I definitely think that's a winner. Vaughn says Duran 11 points and 11 rebounds on DraftKings got me minus 130. He loves that. Couldn't talk you off there. Raptors fan says love both big men in this game. Give me Sengun over 23.5 and Duran double-double. Okay. Houston is a look, Vaughn says. Mr. Nice Guy says spread is at minus 14 for tomorrow against Boston. I didn't even check. I didn't know that spread was out already. Wow. Okay. Sengun triple-double watch. Like his over 5.5 assists, Coop says. Will Jackson says 2 words. Cam Whitmore. Laugh out loud. Over 10.5 at minus 120. Let's keep riding the train 5 straight. Cam Whitmore is a baller, and they're going to need him without Tari Eason in there. Love Cam Whitmore tonight, Will. We'll be watching this game. I'm interested to see, especially because I got to play. Vaughn also says, and we got to get out of here, go to the next game. Vaughn says, Houston is in a look-ahead spot to Boston tomorrow with travel, minus 14-point spread. Minus 14 is crazy, though. I know it's a bad travel situation, but damn. And I agree. I agree. Tariq says he parlayed Houston with the Spurs. Don't judge him. Yeah, I'm not judging you, my brother. Best of luck, man. I hope you cash it. Let's see. Dominique says, I think I will play Rockets money line and some money line parlay. So people not liking the Rockets on the spread as much, but like I said, without Cade, this team has lost twice. It's been about combined 43 points. Don't let that big number scare you off, in my estimation. Next game up, we got Magic and we got Heat. Not a game I'm really interested in, and I'll tell you guys why. The injury report is too big for me. You got Gary Harris being out, Franz Wagner being out for the OKC for Orlando side. Wendell Carter Jr. still listed as questionable. Not sure if he's going to play. But on Miami side, all of the guys got ruled out. Tyler Hero just got ruled out. He was listed as doubtful. Kyle Lowry won't be there. Jimmy Butler won't be there. And I don't necessarily like that. This is not just like a regular Eastern Conference game. This is that interdivisional big brother little brother rivalry. Orlando did get smoked in that last game, lost by 21 against the Timberwolves the other day. That was a bad travel spot for them. But Miami's also off a loss at home. They just lost to OKC the other day. This is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Magic as well. They play in OKC tomorrow. Probably going to get smoked in that game, so you may want this game a little bit more. But you guys know how I feel about betting against Spoelstra teams. When they're in these real small, tight, point spreads, especially against a team that doesn't have doesn't have that much offense, I think they shouldn't be able to, but it's always next man up mentality. I could see them still, finding a way to scrap and claw out a win in this game. They're on the 1.5 point favorite, so you're really just picking the winner of the game. I do think the total is a tad bit too high. 219 is a pretty high total given all the injuries that we've seen. I don't think that the reserves are going to be as effective offensively. And I think Orlando, if they can do a good job of taking care of the basketball, not giving Miami a bunch of easy run out opportunities, I think they can keep this game close. So the under 219, I think, will probably be the better play. Stay away from the side. Last 3 games have gone over the total, but with all those pieces being missing, I think the under is the right play, in my opinion. Didn't really look at this game from a player prop perspective. Just wanted to kind of give you guys my thoughts. Jabari says Sengun 5 assists plus Houston money line is a minus 112. Coop says Jalen Suggs usage is through the roof without Franz in the lineup, taking him over 15.5 and is over 2.5 threes. Couldn't talk you off of that at all, Coop. Best of luck to you, my brother. I hope you cash those looks. Let's go Clippers and let's go Grizzlies. I do have a play in this game as well. So we got the Clippers. They are now this line opened at 7.5 last night. Money did come in on the Clippers. They are now 8.5 point road favorites in Memphis tonight. Total come down from 228.5 down to 224. And my play is actually on the total. So looking at Memphis, we know that. So for the Clippers, they're pretty healthy. But looking at Memphis, this team is really, really banged up, right? You already know John Morant's ruled out, and they've been playing well throughout that. But now you got Marcus Smart, who will be reevaluated and won't be playing for a while. Santi Aldama is also out. Then Derrick Rose remains out as well. So I just kind of feel like they are not going to have enough. And I looked at the numbers just to make sure I wasn't tripping, and the numbers kind of back me up on this. The only thing that they have going for them is Jared Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, which is when they were really struggling. Anyway, you do get the upgrade because you didn't necessarily have Luke Kennard in those for a big stretch of the season. But I don't really think it matters too much. This is another game where the under kind of trends, right? These two teams just played within 2 weeks, right? Not a week like the Pacers and the Hawks, but within 2 weeks. If the total is lower than the first total, those games go under. I told you earlier it was 60%. This one is 57%. So this one kind of makes sense because without Marcus Smart, without John Morant, without Derrick Rose, how does the Grizzlies generate enough offense in this spot? I don't think that they do. So I looked into it. Memphis averages just 103 points per game in 14 games so far this season without John Morant and without Marcus Smart playing. They average just 100 points without them two playing in there at home. So Marcus Smart came back. He immediately impacted the offense, knocking down shots, getting other guys involved. Now Desmond Bane gets all of that heavy lifting back on his shoulders, and I don't think he's going to be able to do so against one of the better defenses in the league. I looked at it from a Clippers perspective. They are 4-0 to the under when they're facing an opponent that they've already played, and the previous game went under. So what that tells me is that if Tyronn Lewis played against you and he was able to slow you down the first time, he just implements the same strategy, and whatever he didn't do, he finds a way to do, and you struggle to score even more. In that spot where the Clippers are 4-0 to the under, they are allowing just 101 points per game. Also, they're bottom 7 in pace as well. That's if the Clippers are playing a team that they played before, and the first game went under. The second one typically goes under as well. So I actually played the Memphis team total under 111.5 last night on DraftKings. That number is all the way down, I think, to 107.5. And I think I would still play it. Of course, you lose 4 points of value, so I'm not going to endorse giving it out to you guys. But I do think Memphis really, really struggles to score. The Clippers' first game on the road in quite a while as well. I know they had a couple games at home, so they might come out a little stagnant as well. And they play with a really, really slow pace. So I like the under in this game. We did lose some value, but I like the under a lot. Stayed away from player props. Didn't play anything in this one. Let's go to the comments real quick. Jeffrey says under on Banchero. Tariq says he just got a $120 million deal. He should show some wins. I'm not sure what that means, Tariq. Locked and Loaded said, I messed around and took the Heat -3 yesterday. I know players are out for Heat, but I think they can still get it done without Franz. And that's what kind of, if Franz was in, I would love Orlando in this spot. But like I said, I don't really play Spoelstra games. Not when they're in those 1-2 point spreads. If the Miami Heat found a way to win, it's not going to shock me. And if the Heat, if Orlando found a way to win, that wouldn't shock me either. I would be a little more shocked, but I think I like them. I think they got a little bit more, but it's too many injuries for me to kind of feel like I can get a real grip on the game. That next man up mentality is something that's actually played well for both teams. We saw Orlando go into Denver last week and actually get a win outright as 10-point dogs when they were shorthanded without Franz in that game. So, like I said, it's not something that I'm on. Best of luck though. Let's see. Hami Jaquez Jr. Okay, watch this. Likes his over 17.5 points. That would probably be a good look. Orlando can struggle against guards at times. They typically do real good against your front court. So I could definitely see this. Raptors fan says he loves Kawhi over 1.5 threes and leaning towards Harden to go over his 9.5 assists. What's up to my guy S-Dot? He says, did he miss my best bet? The Heat win? Absolutely not, S-Dot. I'm off y'all game, but best of luck. I would look at y'all early, like what always cashes, right? Y'all even had a big lead against OKC the other day in the first quarter and in the first half. So that's the way I would look if I had to play anything. Miami is, I think, top 3 first half team in the league. Vaughn says he only's playing Zubac rebounds in this game because Memphis bottom 3 in rebounds allowed to bigs. I think that's a good look, Vaughn. Could not talk you off. They are bottom. Locked and Loaded says Clippers -7.5 official. Took it last night. They about to start looking like the Wizards and the Pistons. I would agree. I think this is a double-digit win. I got really, really close to taking the Clippers minus the 7.5 last night as well. I don't think that this game is going to be close, though. I really, really don't. I don't. And if you go through and look at the margin for the first quarter, when the Clippers are on the road and they're a favorite, they typically win by like 8 points. They come out with emphasis early in the beginning of the game. And it kind of makes sense because Memphis should kind of struggle with all of those guys being in and out of the rotation. It should take a quarter, maybe 2 quarters, for them to kind of get their offense right because you have so many adjustments with, Ja Morant being there, then no Ja Morant, and then with no Ja Morant, now you got Marcus Smart. Now you go from no Ja Morant, no Marcus Smart. So to me, it kind of makes sense. Let's see. Hobby says he's on Banchero under 27.5 points. Hasn't hit versus Miami in last 4 straight. And had 10 last time. Line a little too high. Okay. Good luck there. Vaughn says Clippers and Rockets money line -125. Clippers Timberwolves Rockets money line -125 in a 3-leg. I was actually looking at that earlier, Vaughn. I actually had that. I didn't hit the submit button. I'm not placing money line parlays until I typically like to do 2 legs, but I'm not playing money leg parlays until the game is about to tip. It's gonna have to be in the last like 30 seconds, like 7:09 in 30 seconds, because I need to make sure everybody gonna be in. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. David says Luke Kennard active 5 threes. I could definitely see that. Could not talk anybody off Luke Kennard. The Clippers defense has been great. Where they struggle is giving up threes. Could not talk you off. Go Young DJ says he's taking the Clippers on an alt line -19.5. Man, plus 323. Think they get smoked tonight. S-Dot likes Montreal over 5.5 assists. How we haven't gotten to the LaMelo game, Kilo. S-Dot says lock that in. All right, let's keep going. We got a few more games to get to. We got Blazers Timberwolves. This will be really quick. So Portland smoked last night. I'm talking about smoke like 5 packs of Newports last night. This game was never close. I think they lost by 60, 62 points. And a big part of it was, and I almost gave this out. Probably would have been my only winner yesterday. Brogdon, he ended up getting ruled out last night. I'm not sure why you rest him on the first leg of a back-to-back, especially when you have a chance. To me, that just showed that they were trying to take the game away. I don't think Chauncey Billups thought it was going to be that bad, though. They absolutely got obliterated last night. The game was never close. It was over with, before halftime. And they made national news because I think it was like the biggest blowout in NBA history, losing that game by that many points. The fact of the matter is, without Aiden being out there, they have no rim protection. So you can get whatever it is that you want against this team. Shaedon Sharpe is also out. Brogdon will return, which is going to help this offense, I think. In Minnesota, you still got to wait on the news about Rudy Gobert. He is still listed as questionable. He missed that game 2 nights ago in Boston with that hip injury. So, this line did open at 14.5. It's up to 16 now. Portland, this team is 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. I mentioned the loss last night. Of course, it doesn't get any easier tonight with the Timberwolves coming off the loss the other day. Timberwolves haven't really been covering spreads, but to me, I can look at this game either way. And I don't like the spot for Orlando. Let me say this as well real quick before I jump into it. So this is the 6th and final road game. You talking about a team that can't wait to get home. It wouldn't surprise me if they just kind of check out at halftime of this game. Although, as a man and as a team and as a competitive man and on a competitive team, let's take the competitive team part out. But as a man with individual pride, collective pride amongst the team, when you lose by 60, you feel like you got to at least go out there and try your hardest. And it could be a letdown spot for Minnesota, knowing that this team lost by 60 last night and knowing that we've seen Minnesota before not really take care of business. Anybody remember when they went to Dallas a couple weeks ago? No Luka, and they almost lost that game outright. They didn't even cover the spread. Anybody remember when they played against the Lakers and LeBron got ruled out and it was Anthony Davis and just Austin Reeves out there, and they lost. They lost that game against the spread and barely covered. So Minnesota, are they going to be motivated to really blow this team out and win by 20? I'm not sure. The difference between Minnesota and OKC is OKC's offense is immaculate. This team is top 5 in pretty much every statistical category. Memphis, not so much. Memphis can really struggle to score. Their offense is not as great, but their defense is great. All defense comes with motivation. Will they be locked in this game as much? I'm not sure. They're just 4-6 against the spread in their last 10. They are 14-2 at the crib, but they haven't really been covering at home. So I say all that to say this. If I knew Memphis was going to be locked in, Boston Blazers team total was 102.5. And I still played it under. If you only scored 73 points against a Thunder team that's not as great defensively, that plays at a much faster pace, you could really struggle to get to 100 points. I think they scored like 70-something points yesterday. So if you can't score that many points against OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back, granted Brogdon's coming back, that's going to help the offense out at least a little bit. I just feel like the team total is probably the way to go. Stay away from the spread. If I had to play it, I think I would probably lay the 16, but I'm not sure. When I'm laying 16, I need to know the motivation of the spot. Timberwolves also got a really big game coming up against the Clippers, I want to say, in just a few days. So I say all that to say no play on the game, but I do lean towards the Blazers team total as my favorite play to go under in this spot, under 102 in this spot if I had to play anything. Will Jackson says Paul George needs 15 points to pass Chris Webber to get in the top 100. I'm liking his points. Okay. Vaughn says he likes deep rebounds. He says he's leading the team in rebound opportunities, like the 6.5. And he went over last night, even with a blowout. Yeah, if you can get 6 rebounds when you can get 7 rebounds and the other team score 140 points almost, probably good idea to take their rebounds again, Vaughn. Couldn't talk you off. Let's see. Locked and Loaded says he took the Timberwolves -14 last night. Same game on the road trip. No, last game on the road trip. They really want to go home, and Wolves really let teams have it at home. Wolves be beating teams by 15 plus at the crib if you go look at previous matchups. And okay, watch this as Chauncey is cooked. Yeah, Chauncey is cooked. But I mean, you got to get your team motivated. But the Blazers are really bad. Like they're just, I think sometimes you just lack good players. I don't think they have a lot of good players, especially when you can't get Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons on the floor together. And we got to remember they're missing Aiden too. This team isn't that bad. We backed this same Portland team when they went to Cleveland and Cleveland was healthy and they were catching like 11.5 and they won that game outright. So it's just, it's a matter of injuries in my estimation. I don't think they're as bad as they lost last night, but that's difficult to say. Let's go to Chicago. We got Warriors. They are catching 3 points in this game, which is really, really interesting to me because they actually opened as three. I want to say it was 3.5 point dogs. Is what I saw last night. Now you see the line at 3. Total not really moving a lot. Opened at 229.5. Down to 228.5 on some books as well. So for Golden State, they are without Moody. They'll still be without Draymond. He's still ramping up. Not sure how long it's gonna take him to ramp up. I feel like you aren't injured. You could. I'm not sure why he's not playing, but whatever. You're still missing CP3. You're still missing Gary Payton II. For Chicago, they don't really have any injuries. And then also for looking at Golden State, this is the first road game after 7 straight home games. First leg of a back-to-back as well. They do got the Bucks on deck. That's the first point that kind of makes me think that the Warriors can win this game. And I know it's crazy because we just faded the Warriors against the Pelicans at home, first half minus the 0.5. And that was an easy winner. But to me, so the reason why I want to take Golden State is because I feel like Chicago just been beating up on some suckers. Like they just beat the Charlotte Hornets and then they beat the Houston Rockets. And both of those games actually had to go to overtime. That's another reason why I kind of wanted to fade Chicago in this spot is because they have 2 overtime games back to back. Maybe Golden State just needs new scenery, but I do like the reason why I say I like Golden State is because they got the Bucks tomorrow. They're getting smoked tomorrow against the Bucks. That I think we can kind of just go ahead and say that they don't have enough offense without Chris Paul, without Draymond Green being out there. These guys are not reliable scorers, and it's really been their lack of offense that's really hurt them the most. They're also not playing a lot of defense either. But looking at Chicago, second straight home game, first leg of a back-to-back. They actually traveled to San Antonio to take on the Spurs tomorrow. They're coming off, like I said, the back-to-back overtime wins. They have won and also covered their last 3 games straight up as a home favorite also. But one thing I was looking at when I was kind of looking at this, because like I said, I was trying to find a way to back the Warriors, and I do lean Warriors. I didn't play them. But I looked at favorites off back-to-back overtime games. They only cover about 45% of the time. If you also add that they won their last game, and they're favored in the next game, they actually only cover 28.9% of the time. So that's a 72% trend that says that to back the Warriors here. But I just can't get there. I need to see the Warriors, but do something before I'm able to feel like I can truly invest my money in it. Looking at it from an X's and O's perspective, we know that Chicago is one of the best teams in the world at slowing down guards. Right? This is what they do. They typically take the ball out of the guards' hands. I'm talking about they don't let guards shoot threes. They don't let guards get points. They double, they trap, right? We talked about this the other day with Fred VanVleet. He went over his number, but he did need overtime to get there. So to me, when I think about that and I think about how much Steph is needed in this game, that kind of keeps me off Chicago. It kind of keeps me off Golden State. So no play for me, but those are my thoughts. I just kind of wanted to share them with you guys. I couldn't get there at all in this game. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Locked and Loaded says they're terrible, bro. They don't want to play. He says they might want to play, but can they is the question, and I don't think that they can. Smokey Steam Best likes the Warriors as well. He says sometimes the best thing for a slumping team is to get away from home and the media. If they show any pride, they can win this game. Oh, man. The Bulls have actually been playing a little bit better, man. They actually have. I know they've been beating up on cupcakes, like I said. I do lean Warriors +3 with you, though, Smokey. I just couldn't get there. Dominique says the Bulls money line. He likes the over as well. The Bulls are the slowest paced team in the league, and they take the most time per possession because they walk the ball up like snails. Every single possession. I want to say it's like 15 seconds per possession is what they average, which really makes it difficult for me to want to play over for them, for the opposing team, anything. S-Dot likes the Warriors on the money line. Solo says, just close my eyes and take the Warriors. Yeah, so we got some Warriors love. Chevy says Ring of Honor ceremony night for the Bulls. Need to look more into that. I didn't see that. Coop says peak desperation. Makes sense for the Warriors, but will it show up? I thought it was peak desperation in the last spot, Coop, which is why I didn't take the Pelicans in the trifecta spot. It really wasn't. We'll see how it goes tonight. Sean likes the Bulls on the money line. Let's see. Game Day J says I see Curry. I see a Curry night regardless. Vaughn wants to get there with Golden State as well, coming off the embarrassing loss on national television. He says, but I think I can find a better place to put my money, and I'm right there with you. Malik, the Chicago resident, says the spread is weird to me. I can't trust the Bulls as favorites at home Doesn't make sense. I like Levine volume wise tonight. Okay. Brandon also likes Levine for 20. Tariq says, I'm going to keep my eyes wide open. Bulls. Oh man, Jamie says may take Vooch for a double-double, put up 43 on them last time they played. That could be the look, Jamie, especially with him being back in the starting lineup. They've been really struggling against big men. Could not talk you off. Peter says, guys worried about being traded, stay away from the Warriors. That's an interesting point. Yeah, that's an interesting point. We got a couple teams tonight, though, that are in really, really, just terrible, not terrible, but like more so like the spot says to actually back them. And the Warriors feel like, to me, they are. Like I said, the Bulls I think they're a little overvalued. They do play a lot better at home, though. And I need to kind of see it from the Warriors. We'll see how it goes, though. Okay, watch this. Says no MJ, Pippen, or Rodman at the ceremony tonight. Call me Aries says Steph averaging 23 points since the new year. I'm good on the Warriors. Give me the Bulls money line. Yeah, they also inserted Caruso into the starting lineup, and Caruso has a really good history against Steph. So something got to give tonight. We'll see what happens. Bryce says Blazers won outright as against the Wolves last season as 18.5-point dogs. I did look at that as well, Bryce. I did see that as well. I vividly remember that game as well. It was in Minnesota also at the end of the season. I remember that. Let's keep going. We got 3 more games to get to. We got Pelicans. We're actually doing pretty good on time. We got Pelicans and Nuggets. This line I do need to update really quickly. This line, because everybody all got ruled in, it's down to 5.5. The total has gone up to 230. And this was a game that I didn't really put too much consideration in. I'll tell you guys why. Because I'm looking at this Pelicans team, and they're one of the best teams in the league right now. I think, that's pretty evident what they've been doing, able to do, even to start this road trip, what they've been able to do at home. I want to say they're 10-0 against the spread in the first half in their last 10 games, and they've been cleaning people up. They just smoked the Warriors, 141 to 105. Cleaned up Sacramento. I told you guys they were about 50 in that spot, won the game by 33. They did lose to the Clippers, but beat Minnesota before that, Brooklyn, the Lakers, Utah. This team is like really, really been playing well. They haven't lost a game since the day after Christmas when Ja Morant came back and they actually went to double overtime in that game and won and lost that game by 1 point. That was the last time they lost outside of the Clippers game. So everybody get ruled in, right? Because there was some injuries that was a part of this game. Zion now listed as probable with the quad injury. Trey Murphy also listed as probable. CJ McCollum listed as probable. And Brandon Ingram all listed as probable. On the Denver side, Strother is out indefinitely. And to me, that is a big, big deal. I know Denver relies so much on the Jokic minutes when he typically plays throughout the first quarter. But to me, the biggest problem that Denver's having right now is they don't have a lot of consistency with their second unit. Denver, to me, I about 3 weeks ago, I thought Denver was still the should be favorite to win the championship and running back this year. I'm really concerned about their lack of depth that they have coming off the bench. I just go back and I kind of not even kind of look, but it feels to me like Jokic, he's getting burnt out because every time he goes to the bench, they end up giving up the lead. They're losing every single, end of the first quarter until about 7 minutes when he come back in the game before halftime. They're losing those minutes almost every single game. The Pelicans are a really, really deep team. You got guys like Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall, Hawkins, who don't even really get that much playing time. So I would agree with this line coming down. It's not anything that I played. The Pelicans do have first leg of a back-to-back, and they play against Dallas tomorrow. So we'll see what happens in this game, and then we'll figure out what happens in that game tomorrow. Dallas did already rule Luka out, so Luka probably just getting some rest, some much-needed rest from carrying their team, especially when Kyrie wasn't there. So now Kyrie gets to carry the team while Luka gets his rest and stops playing 38 minutes per game. But looking at Dallas, the reason why I didn't want to fade them is because they got smoked in the last game. You see Mike Malone call his team out after that loss. They lost the game by 13 in Utah, laying 7 points. So Denver has been really, really good at the crib, of course. They have lost, however. They did lose, however, to Orlando at the crib as well, just a few days ago. And this team really hasn't been covering. They haven't covered 3 of their last 4. And the only one that they did cover in those 4 was actually the Detroit game. And that was a game that Cade got injured right before halftime. So they don't really have a big anything big coming up? This is the first game back home. They play the Pacers coming up on Sunday. Then they got Philly and Boston, so they go back out on the East Coast. I'm not really sure. If I had to play the game, I do think I'd take the points. I'd also be looking towards the under. We already talked about the Pelicans being so good defensively. On the road, at home, this team just really, locks up. They just held Golden State to 105 points. They held the Sacramento Kings to 100 points. Even in the loss to the Clippers only scored 111. Held Minnesota to 106, Brooklyn to 85. So whatever, Coach Willie Green is saying to his team is working defensively anyway. So the better defensive team, at least right now, I think I lean towards the 5.5. Take the 5.5 with the Pelicans. I would also lean towards the under. I know the total went up, but when these two teams play, I can kind of see, and it's a revenge spot as well for Denver, but I can see the under, hitting in this game. The last time they played November 17th, total was 227. That game went under. Now we see it open up higher. I would look towards the under in this spot as well. That would probably be my top look in this game if I had to play anything. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Then we got 2 more games to get through real quick. Pippen beefing with MJ about his wife. Oh, man. Let's see. I got anything here? SK likes Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. He says Cleveland last 9 versus New Orleans. I couldn't talk you off. I know that's been a popular play throughout the course of the season. Tariq says the Nuggets game can go to overtime if everyone plays. I would agree with that as well. I like your analysis. New sub here. Appreciate that, Sean. Appreciate you for tapping in, my guy. Bryce says Malone has started staggering Jamal and Jokic minutes recently. That is true, Bryce. He's been taking out Murray a little bit earlier so he can come back in and finish the first quarter. Then Jokic goes to the bench with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And that's because their offense is just really that bad. Their second unit doesn't have, like, Reggie Jackson is okay on some nights, but other nights he struggles. You're not going to get too much outside of defense from guys like Christian Watson and DeAndre Jordan. So I agree. Vaughn says Denver defense was bad in nutshell last game. Had Utah looking like the dream team. Wait until I see a level of consistency from them. Yeah, I would agree. Raptors fan asking about the first half of the Pels spread. He says, is it worth the play? Couldn't talk you all, Raptors fan. I'm off the game because I just don't know what's going to happen. If the Pelicans, regress just a tad bit, it wouldn't surprise me much here. But if they were able to go in and get a first half cover, that really wouldn't surprise me either because Denver is kind of reeling right now. We'll see how they respond tonight to Mike Malone calling them out the other day. SoCal Ball Nerd says Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 threes made. Pelicans give up the most 3-point attempts per game. Third most makes to the small forward position. Denver takes 7 most attempts and makes the 9th most. Okay. Hey, best of luck to you there. Peter likes the Nuggets early. First quarter -1.5 for him. Jabari says Jokic is such a weird player when it comes to props. I love his points, rebounds, and assists over tonight, though. Best of luck. Raptors fans, okay, watch this, says Raptors fans. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Keep playing the Pelicans. Keep playing the Pelicans in the first half. Let's keep going. We got 2 more games to get to real quick. We got Raptors and we got Jazz. This is an interesting game, man. Very interesting game. I'll tell you guys this before I even get started. To me, it's a Jazz spot. I talked about the Toronto Raptors potentially running out of gas in that last game. And they've looked really, really good recently. They covered 7 of their last 10 spreads. I'm talking about the Raptors, that is. 7 of their last 10 spreads. They don't play well, though, typically in Utah. They haven't won a game in Utah in quite a while. March 9th, 2000. So they don't, for whatever reason, they don't show up. You don't really like laying points with the Jazz. The spread is coming down. And I think that's because Siakam is probably going to play. He's listed as questionable right now. But with no Jakob Poeltl, to me, that's just even more of a reason to fade Toronto. Also, Toronto, like I said the other day, they're in a really, really bad travel spot. So for Toronto, this is still a 3rd game in 4 nights, even though they didn't play yesterday. They only had yesterday off, but back-to-back losses, but they did cover both of those games versus the Clippers and versus the Lakers. Eventually, they got to regress. That's just how I kind of feel. Like, they've been shooting lights out. which is why they went over the team total in that last game. I gave out their team total under against the Clippers, who are a very strong defense. The Clippers just really didn't bring it defensively. I know that they're going to be motivated in this game, and they've actually covered, 5 of their last 6, and all 5 of those games have come since the trade. The only win that they have, however, came against Golden State, which everybody's beating them right now, and against Memphis when they beat them 116 to 111. So the altitude could be in the play. Utah not having to travel at all. As long as Utah doesn't let down in this spot, I do think it's a Utah spot. I kind of feel like it's a public play. Everybody will be on Utah today. The last time Utah was laying points at home, they went to overtime, and that was with Detroit. They couldn't stop Detroit in that game. And real quick, I just want to look at something real quick, because now everybody been taking the Jazz as dogs, and they've been covering, myself included. But at home as a favorite, they are 4-0. So you could just play the money line. They're 3-1 against the spread. We know that they're the best ATS team at home in general. It's typically because they're catching points or either laying a short number. They're also 3-1 to the over, and that's the way I chose to play this game. I played over last night. The number was 235. I thought I was tripping. I'm like, hold on, 235. The Jazz averaging like 130 points, and Toronto playing really, really well. My worry, though, my only concern is that they could potentially run out of gas in this spot. Like I said in the last game, this is the Jazz 6th straight road game. I'm sorry, this is Toronto's 6th straight and final road game. It's also one of those games where they played 6 games, I think, in 10 days, going all the way back to the 3rd. So what's that? 3rd through the 12th is what? Let's just go to the 5th. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So in 8 days, they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a fifth game in 8 days. Is also a 6th game in 10 days. So not the greatest spot. Not typically a spot you want to take. I'm probably gonna get there with the Jazz as well. I didn't play it yet, but I did play the over. This total has steamed up from 235 when I gave it out all the way to 242, and I think it's for a good reason. The Jazz typically play worse defense when they are favorites, they play worse defense when they are favorites at home. They average 130 points, so couldn't talk anybody off just playing the team total over and staying away from the spread. They're also giving up 117, so 130 and 117 across 4 games as a home favorite. That's 247 points. Both of these teams are top 7 in pace over the last 5 games as well. So I played the over. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully Toronto doesn't run out of gas, and as long as they don't, I think this game flies over the 235 that I gave out. I probably wouldn't touch the total right now. 242 is a lot of points, but if I had to play it, I still would look towards the over. Not playing any unders right now for Toronto, especially against a team that can shoot the ball really, really well. The Jazz been having no trouble really scoring the ball. So those are my thoughts on this game. And I didn't even realize that I didn't even make this. I had both of them up at the same time. So those are my thoughts there on the Raptors and the Jazz. Lean Jazz. Like I said, it's a Jazz spot. Lean Jazz team total over, but I took the full game over, so probably won't double dip in this one. Let's see what y'all saying here. Smoky Steam Bet says 2 bets on teams for me. Really want to be on the Raptors, but I'm passing. Call Me Aries says Raptors pushing that Siakam trade heavy. I don't really trust his motivation right now. He's been hooping though. He's been hooping, Call Me Aries, and they've been hooping as a team. Like I said, I do think they do regress. They won't continue to shoot 60%, but if you can score against the Clippers and you got 1 day off, I know you have to travel in altitude. I do think you should still be able to score in this spot. So that was all the things that kind of talked me into the over. Jermaine says Jazz 3-1 this season as a favorite. Yep, 4-0 against the spread as well. So you could just lay the money line if you wanted to get invested. Let's see. Peter says Siakam minutes might get cut since he's about to get traded. Utah -3. I don't really know. I think Siakam gonna play less defense because he's about to get traded. Don't want to get hurt. J Juice says, "What's up, Chris? I hope all is blessed on your side. Do you have any suggestions with Melo coming back?" I skipped over that game, didn't I? No, I didn't. I think that's the last game. We'll talk about that game in a second, J Juice. Let's see. Coop says the funniest game on the slate is not mad or latest small number with the Jazz, but It could be a letdown spot. And Raptors want to finish the road trip at 500. Yeah, that's interesting as well. Cool. This is a very, very bad travel spot for them. Ronald Cox likes the Raptors plus 2.5. He says RJ Barrett and Quickly been balling. Yeah, and they still been losing though. Ronald, that's the thing. Do they have enough offense or enough defense without Jakob Poeltl in there? Like, who you think Thaddeus Young slowing them guys down from getting to the rim and getting whatever it is they want? John Collins could absolutely feast in this game tonight. He did in the last game. We'll see how it goes. SK likes Lauri Markkanen double-double at plus 135. He said it's cleared in 3 straight games in a row. Bryce says, you think the Jazz will still be sellers at the deadline if they keep playing like this? I'm not sure, Bryce. I am really not sure. I don't think that the Jazz want to win, though. I'll tell you that. I think that Will Hardy wants to see his team play hard, but I think that they would love to, and it's probably what's going to start happening in the second part of the season. They'll probably keep games close, and then he'll probably throw in, the third string. Not even Keontae George. He'll probably throw in the third string point guard, or they'll just start like having weird rotations and kind of selling some games. But right now it's fun, and you're at home on a Friday night. I think they potentially win this game for sure. EQ says, personally for me, I can't back a bottom seed team that's been playing this good, 8-2 last 10. Okay. Tariq says Jazz spot, got time to bet it. I would agree. Jeffrey says points. That's what I'm hoping for. Jeffrey also says done over his assist. Ugly, he knows. Could not talk. It'll be him, Jordan Clarkson. Somebody will get the assist. Let's see. Dominique says, by the way, what do you think about over 230 in the Nuggets and Pelicans game? I like the under, Dominique. Both of those teams are really good defensively. Pels, like I said, if you go back and listen to the breakdown, I talked about how the Pelicans just literally been locking everybody down. And the Nuggets can struggle to score, especially within those non-Jokic minutes. So I would lean towards the under in that game. Maybe catch it live. Probably won't play it. But yeah, that would be my thought process. And then Raptors fan says John Collins points of threes is what I would be looking at in this game. He could absolutely go crazy in this game. Let's get to the last game on the card for tonight. It's crazy because it's all of the Western Conference teams, or for whatever reason, it's crazy how the card, like how the numbers came out. Because I always go in rotational order. And Charlotte and San Antonio is an 8-10 start time, but it's the last game that we cap. It's interesting. And I don't have a lot of thoughts on this game. So the big news is that LaMelo did return. They still PJ Washington didn't get ruled out yet, but I think he is listed as doubtful. Still gonna be without Mark Williams. Still gonna be without Gordon Hayward. It's a big chunk of their offense, and one of the reasons why they've actually not covered their last few spreads. LaMelo coming back in should push the pace, but he could be rusty. Pretty sure Clifford's gonna put him on some kind of minutes limit in this spot as well. And the total did come down. It opened at 242.5, and actually it's crazy because neither one of these teams are really great defensively, but it came all the way down to 237 right now is what we see it at. The Spurs opened as 1.5-point favorites, and people have actually been putting their hard-earned money on the Spurs to cover and win this game. The number is up to 2 now. And we just cashed with San Antonio the other day against Detroit. I think I'm good with that. I don't think I really want to, try my hand, multiple times with the San Antonio Spurs. I will say this, though. They do have a clean injury report outside of Zach Collins not being available, and they've actually covered 4 of their last 5 games. They've actually covered 4 games in a row. They covered that game against the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. And, of course, like I said, they won on Wednesday against Detroit. Charlotte has also beaten this team 5 straight times, and they also covered 5 times in a row. So, for whatever reason, they just really – San Antonio struggles against Charlotte no matter where they're playing at, whether it's in San Antonio or in Charlotte. Charlotte's also 0-3 straight up and against the spread, 0-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 4. So injured player theory or player coming back into the lineup theory says that you fade that team, right? LaMelo coming back should help the offense. It's probably not going to help the defense. What does San Antonio like to do? Shoot a bunch of threes. Victor Wembanyama could absolutely eat in this game. We saw him get his first triple-double the other day, and he only played 21 minutes. Who on this San Antonio team, on this Charlotte team, is going to be able to slow down Victor Wembanyama? Especially if those 3 start to fall from like Devin Vassell and, you got Trey Jones back, Jeremy Sohan. To me, it just feels like San Antonio is the right side. I'm not betting the game, but I do lean towards San Antonio in this spot. I think that San Antonio has enough to get the job done. I like them because they're at home as well. And typically, like I said, you want to fade that player when the star player first comes back in. LaMelo should be rusty. He should be super rusty tonight. But he does get a really good matchup against the San Antonio Spurs, who do rank pretty poor defensively, even though they have picked it up over the last few games. So No play for me on that game. I didn't even put the banner up. My fault. I had the banner made. But I didn't play anything in that game. Best of luck if you guys got any action. 4 top plays for me. I'm gonna go over them real quick. Dominique says he plays San Antonio minus the 0.5 in the first quarter. That's when they play their best basketball. Dominique could not talk you off San Antonio early. Jeffrey likes Bridges under 23.5. Why so, Jeffrey? Let me know why Miles Bridges under 23.5. What don't you like about Bridges tonight? Is it because Melo's back? Is it because he has a bad track record against them? Is it because I know it's not because nobody on the Spurs can guard anybody? I'm just interested to hear a little bit more if you got time to elaborate on that. EQ says LaMelo needs to show me he's back first. I would agree. You gotta. We know LaMelo actually started the season off really, really poorly. Remember, I bet on LaMelo one game. He had a really good matchup. I think it was like against the Pacers. And he didn't even play well in that spot. And then right after, he got his feet underneath him. He started averaging 30 and close to a triple-double. So, okay, so Jeffrey likes him to go. He likes Bridges under because Melo taking up his usage. Okay, I could see that. I would definitely check the minutes limit, though. See if you can find any kind of inside information on, what Clifford says. For anybody who joined, I do have a beat reporters list over on Twitter. I don't talk about this often, but if you follow me on Twitter and go to the 3 bubbles at the top of my name, I do have a beat reporter list for beat writers, media staff that cover these teams, so you can kind of get a more in-depth analysis with articles being written, the latest information. That stuff will help you a lot, and I'm always checking it out depending on what team I'm looking for. So maybe even go over there and read something, see if you can find some inside information on LaMelo being back. Ross says, how would you attack Melo being back? Unders? Stay away completely? I don't even know what the numbers are, Ross, if I'm being honest. I didn't even look into it. Not sure. Tariq likes Spurs first half. Bryce says 3 props he likes. Jabari Smith Jr., under 9.5 rebounds. Hami Jaquez Jr., over 2.5 turnovers. And RJ Barrett, over his 2.5 assists. Jeffrey also says he plays also Spurs play well. Real quick, Debo says, what are your opinions on the Bulls first half money line? It's going to go 2 ways, Debo. The Warriors are going to come out there and look like the Warriors team that we've seen, like a while ago, not recently, not that team. Or they're going to get smoked early. I just think it's going to be one or the other. I would like to take the Warriors against a team that doesn't play defense. The Bulls play slow and they play defense. That's not really a recipe for the Warriors to play well. Like the Warriors have a much better. If the Warriors had a couple more players, I don't think they have enough offense right now, especially with Chris Paul being out with the hand injury. I don't think they have enough offense, which is one of the things that kind of talk me off of them. But you need to get them in a matchup versus a team that doesn't play defense, like a San Antonio. Like San Antonio doesn't play that much defense. A Detroit, and I know I'm saying all bottom feeder teams, but even the Bucks, I feel like they might have a better chance against because the Bucks played defense last night, but that was really just they weren't playing no defense for real. That was just the Celtics not really showing up for that game because they were so tired off the overtime the night before. So I don't like the Warriors as much, but I'm probably gonna be wrong. I mean, I'm wrong all the time. We'll see what happens. Brandon likes Vassell over 21.5 points or his threes ladder. Could not talk you off. So here's what I played. 4 plays for me. We have, like I said, positive CLV on every spot. Not sure what that means. Probably means another reverse sweep. Probably won't win a bet. But I placed these last night. Indiana and Atlanta under 254.5. That number is down to 251.5. So we got 3 points of value there. Like I said, probably don't mean anything. Houston minus the 7.5. That number is now 8.5. It's going up to 9 at some places as well. So we got 1.5 points of value there. And like I said, Detroit without Cade, they lost 2 games so far. Both of them by 20 points apiece. Memphis, team total under 111.5. The last time I checked, that number had moved to, it is 107.5 at minus 106 on FanDuel right now. So 4 points of value there. And then I took Toronto and Utah over 235.5 last night. And that line is all the way up to 242.5. So 7 points of value there. We'll see what happens though. Those are my top 4 plays, man. Y'all let me know what y'all liking. Hit the like button for me if you guys do enjoy the show, providing all the content for you guys. Handicapping these games. If you're riding with me, let me know what bets you like and drop your best bet. I asked for people to do this yesterday as well. I'm just curious to know what people are on. If you had to play one play today and you had to put 5 units on it, 5 of whatever your unit size is. If you had to, you can only make one bet tonight. One bet. What would that one bet be? Let me know what it is in the comment section over on YouTube. And if you guys got anything you want to share, hop over on Twitter. If you're listening on YouTube, and we will get to the few handicappers that break the card down with me all the time. Let's go, Godspeed first. What's up, Godspeed? Talk to me. How you doing, bro? Godspeed might have fell asleep. Godspeed, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? I'm good, man. I'm good. What's going on? What we liking for today? Okay, that's what we looking for. What we liking today?
On my card, my 2 most confident straights. I'm gonna have to rock with my boy Jalen Johnson over 8.5 rebounds. I got that on ESPN bet at -120. He's 0-4 out of the last 6 games, averaging 11.7 rebounds. He's averaging 17 potential rebounds in the last 6 games. And the Pacers are allowing the 4th most rebounds to his position. They in Atlanta on a Friday night. You already know what's going on. In Atlanta on a Friday night. Stars gonna be there. You know what's going on, man. He's been a cash cow all season, so hey, let's get it, Jalen. And then I'm gonna rock with Lauri Markkanen. Another team, this Utah team is a different Utah team at home.
That's a fact.
They're not supposed to be at.
That's a fact.
So I like Lauri Markkanen also over his 8.5 rebounds, -130 on ESPN bet. He's averaging 13 rebounds over his last 3 games with 17.3 rebounding chances. He's covered his line in 3 out of 3 games since joining Utah, including once this season when he covered it with 9 rebounds. The Raptors allowing an average of 9.9 rebounds to the power forward position. You see his numbers kind of going up, and John Collins kind of coming back down to earth, because I remember early in the season, John Collins was going like double crazy, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen John Collins like this in the NBA. But yeah, he's averaging the most rebound opportunities on that team. So I'm rocking with Lauri Markkanen at the crib to get it done. Like I said, the history there. So if I had to put 10 units and split 5 and 5, I would go with Jalen Johnson over his 8.5 and Lauri Markkanen over his 8.5. And I'm gonna tell I got a booster parlay. I call it the Crazy Eights. I took a lot of players for 8s. It's 8 legs. I took a lot of 8 props at 8s. So I'm gonna set that up top for a lot of if y'all want to tell.
Okay, no, that sounds good. That sounds good, Godspeed. Godspeed, I got a question for you, real quick, and then I'm gonna get into some of these best bets. I just want to shout these out real quick, just in case people in the Twitter space were looking for, maybe they kind of lean this way and kind of see other people on it as well. But my question for you, Godspeed, I hear you say Jalen Johnson over 8.5, Lauri Markkanen over 8.5. I think they're both in very advantageous matchups today. Like both of those. Did you do a double parlay for both of them to get one more rebound and put it together, or no?
I'm gonna drop some crazy stuff in. So the parlay that I just shared up top with the 8 and 8, I also like all of those guys for 10, and it's a plus 17K. I put that in my Dub Club, so of course I took them for 10. I like the double. I like everybody. Just to give y'all the names, I got Zubac 8 rebounds. I like him for 8 to 10. James Harden 8 to 10 assists. Nikola Jokic 8 to 10 assists. They back at the crib. This Denver team, they ain't the same Denver team like we've seen last season at home. But we typically role players play better at home, so I'm depending on Jokic to do what he usually do at the crib. 8 rebounds for Jokic. I like him for 8 to 10. Probably gonna get 14. Jalen Johnson, I already spoke on Fred. He's in an advantageous matchup. Like him for 8 to 10 assists. Wemby at home versus rookie number 2. You know what I'm saying? Show out. I believe he's going to get over his little 23, 24-minute threshold. He's at the crib. And Lori marking it. So, yeah, if you want to play a double-double with just Jalen and Lori, I don't know what the odds is, but I can't talk you off it. But I'm just dropping my crazy lotto of the night. And I played on this Friday. Up top, it's the 8s, and I played their 10s as well, plus 17K. Sprinkled. It's a crazy lotto.
Yeah, that I just looked at it, Godspeed. That is crazy, bro. Pretty unique too. I like that. I like that a lot. Share it in the Twitter space. So real quick before we get to Breezy, good to see Breezy in here. Actually requested up. I see her in here all the time, but good to see her, request up. Let's get to some of these real quick. So I asked for best bets. We got Harden double from David, which no way I could talk you off that. He did get a double-double in the last game. I want to say he's got like 5 of the last 6, and we did catch his over 9.5 assists last game as well. Keith likes Malik Monk points and assists. That would be his 5-unit lean. Jabari says 5 units for him. I'd play the Raptors over the Jazz. Okay. Coop says quickly would be it for him. Over 5.5 assists would be his favorite play. Shadow says 5 units on Jokic, points, rebounds, and assists to go over. Okay, watch this. Says he likes the Pacers team total under 122.5. And then we got Trey Jackson, who likes Jaden Ivey over 2.5 threes, playing against Houston tonight. Matthew likes Paulo Banchero over 7.5 rebounds, minus 114 on FanDuel tonight. And that matchup gets the Heat. EQ says 5 units. That ain't going to happen on the NBA, that's for sure. He said, I'll give you a UFC pick for 5 units. He likes Mario Bautista, I think is how you pronounce that, Bautista, on the money line. I'm not even sure who that is, but if you like UFC, EQ dropped a look. And then we have best bet from VC3. He says it'd be Denver minus 10 for his 5-unit bet. Just JV 713 says he likes LaMelo over his assists. McLean says if it ain't pretty, but I'm on market and double and is over on his points. Okay. Raptors fan says one play with a 5-unit bet. Give me Duran double. That kid is on another level. Ronald Cox says his one best bet would be Pacers plus 5.5. Jermaine says any bet, Fox under 2.5 threes. Vaughn says favorite play for him would be I'm almost done. Well, I thought I was almost done. Damn, I'm actually not almost done. So we're going to go to Breezy and then we'll come back to these. Bond says his favorite play would be the Hawks first quarter. McLean also says Jalen Johnson double cash for him last time, going back to the well there. Tasha likes the 76ers minus the 1. If I had a top look right now, it would be 76ers minus the 1. 76ers on the money line, and it would also be Jazz minus whatever they are, minus 2.5 or 2.5, whatever they are. So I like that look a lot as well. I just think it's kind of interesting that they're favorites against a team that's won 2 straight games in a row, and they've lost 3 straight games in a row, and they're at home in Philly on a Friday. Bet on JC on the opposite side of me says Pistons plus 8.5. Favorite play. Rockets isn't that good away from home. Well, if you think the Pistons are good at home, best of luck on that one, JC. All right, I didn't know this many bets was gonna come in. Let's go Breezy, and then we'll get back to him. What's up, Breezy? How you doing? I'm good. No complaints at all. It's good to see you. Good to see you in the space. What?
Is 10 for 10 without Kevin Huerter. And I mean, like, somebody else has to step up, right? So 10 for 10 without Huerter, clearing this line. He cleared it in Dallas, had 12 points. He's 2 for 2 over this line versus Philly. He's averaging 19 points over those 2 games. And on the road this year, he's cleared this in 11 of the last 17, averaging 11 points per game. So I think this is an absolute, like, steal. You know, I'm not going to say that word, but
I like it.
I really, really, really like this prop. You know, figured out share it with the community.
Okay, I like that. Say it one more time, Breezy.
Harrison Barnes over 8.5
Harrison Barnes over 8.5 points, especially without Herter being there. 76ers defense has not been that great, and Breezy is from Philly. For y'all who don't know, so she knows the opposition very well. Yeah. Okay. That is a fact. Very, very. Yeah, y'all follow Breezy, man. If y'all not doing so already, me and Breezy been connected for a while. She always in the space, sharing looks all the time. Shout out to Breezy, man. Appreciate you being here, Breezy. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, anytime. So real quick, back on the best bets, real quick. Let's see. Well, we got a couple more. Bitsy says wouldn't put 5 units on the NBA, but my 1 unit best bet is Jalen Johnson over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Couldn't talk you off of that. DT likes Jokic over his 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -120. Mark Nick says Xavier Tillman birthday is today. He likes him over 7.5 points. That's funny to me that we go into Xavier Tillman, but I couldn't talk you off, Mark. Best of luck, man. He could get there. Bernie says Nikola Jovic from Miami over his points, rebounds, and it's over his PRA or over a half of a steal or block. So just to get 1 block or 1 steal. He says he will play big minutes tonight. That is a fact, Bernie. I could definitely see that. Playing hard for coach. I could definitely see that. Bonchero under 27.5 points for Devon. Likes that as his best bet. SRV still likes Jokic over 9.5 assists. Vaughn says he's going back to Ben Mathurin points as well. I think that's the look, Vaughn. Every time I don't double back, Ben Mathurin cashes. I got to actually write that down. Ben Mathurin gets a really good matchup against a really bad defense in the Atlanta Hawks. And he let the whole world down. So nobody will be on him today. He'll cash. Yeah, I like that a lot, Vaughn. Cynthia Chambers, appreciate you for being here. She says, Chris, she says, LAC -8.5. Any thoughts? I'm still mad at Memphis. You and me both. I talked about this game earlier, Cynthia. If I was playing the game, I'd lay the 8.5 with the Clippers. I think the Clippers can win by double digits with that lineup that Memphis is going to try out there today. Maybe a little bit more earlier, but I do think that they can. Memphis, I'll say this. The Clippers are not really good against teams that don't have a good record. They don't typically cover. But against Memphis, that version of Memphis, I think that they do. I would take the Clippers to win by anything less than double digits if I was playing the game. But like I said, I already gave out the team total under last night at under 11.5. Under 111.5 for that game. So I don't want to double dip in that game. Let's see. Breezy 420 says I picked Rockets at -290 for 2K. I got lucky because the line is now -375. So you probably took the money line with something. I can see that. What else? I think that's it. Isaiah Stewart is in. Jermaine says I'm from Philly too. Yeah, okay. So Jermaine says he's from Philly too. Okay, that's what we got, man. If we real quick, let's get the guy up real quick. He requested, and I'm pretty sure he got some blunt money bets for us. Let's get Dream up before we end. And let me take this down. I was actually screen sharing so we could kind of look at some of the looks so you guys can see where you get the best odds at if you're in a state where you could put multiple bets in. So where you have access to multiple books. So let's go Dream real quick. What's up, Dream? Talk to me. I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. How you feeling on this Friday?
I'm all right, man. Magnificent Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Catch a couple plays.
Absolutely.
Anybody talk about Cam Whitmore?
Nope. Whoa, somebody mentioned him in the chat over 10.5. Great spot, right?
Yeah. Great spot for Cam. Ladder 15 to 20. Really good spot coming off a 32-minute game. 28 in regulation when he played the full overtime. He's taking minutes away from Deshaun Tate. Also, good spot for them. I just feel like this game gonna be a blowout. I like betting on and against my Pistons. Even though it's not my favorite team, but might as well be my favorite team to bet on. And I just think this game is gonna be crazy tonight. I think they're gonna be blown out. So if that's the case, then we might get a lot of Cam Whitmore in the fourth quarter. And Cam ain't shy. And we also might get Cam Whitmore. Cam might get 10 minutes in the first half and then play 20 in the second half, something like that. So I think he's in a good spot. And let me see. Pull some numbers up real quick. Because he hasn't been playing a lot, but he's still been getting double digits.
Yeah, it's the Tari Eason not being there factor along with Dylan Brooks not being there, right, Dream?
Yeah, But Deshaun Tate, he about to lose his rotation spot, and Dylan, he gonna be around, but he gonna lose minutes to Cam. I think Cam should play a little defense, but yeah, Cam Whitmore, 1, 2, 3, his last 5. Well, fuck it, we'll do his last 6 games. Since the beginning of the new year, 8 minutes, 9 points, 17 minutes, 11 points, 15 minutes, 11 points, 13 minutes, 12 points, 17 minutes, 11 points, 33 minutes, 16 points. So, I think he's going to get around 20 to 30 minutes tonight. And I think once he see how sweet that Detroit defense is, I think he's going to lose his mind. Really like Cam tonight. And also, sneaky play that somebody came on my show and said, if anybody know where I can ladder, Chris, if you know where I can ladder Lauri Markkanen and assist, holla at me. Please, anybody, if anybody can find some Lauri Markkanen and assist ladder, please get with me.
Where you check, Adrian? You checked already anywhere?
I checked every book I have available in New York.
Okay, you don't got access to it nowhere.
Nah, I can only get 1.5 base, which I'm gonna end up putting something on. Just gotta find something to put with it. But yeah, long story short, and I didn't check this, but I believe the guy on my stream. Guy told me Lauri Markkanen had 5 assists his last 2 games versus Toronto. We know Toronto like to double team bigs. AD just might have had 4 or 5 assists versus him. But yeah, 5 assists the last 2 times playing them. And as I look at his base, like I said, 1.5 minus 150. But as I look at him now, he's got 2 assists his last 2 games. And he had 5 assists 4 games ago against the Celtics. So, he's got 5 assists versus the Pelicans. For what it's worth, his 5 assists is plus 1,200 if you can find it.
I see it, Jane. It's on Bet365. You can get 3 assists for Lauri. So the 1.5 is juiced at minus 145. The 3 is plus 215, and the 5, like you said, is plus 1,200.
My goodness, yeah. So I don't have Bet365, but if y'all got access to that, I think it's worth the look. So Lauri Markkanen 5 assists in 3 of his last 10. And it's looking like he's either going to get 2, 5, or none. So do that information if you please, but it would definitely be worth probably a half unit if I could find something to put with his 1.5. Probably a half unit because it is janky. It's a low number and it's an assist. But I think it's a good value, especially if you want to ladder it for some block.
Yeah. I love the Cam Whitmore play, Jim. I hadn't really thought about it. I saw the minutes and kind of increasing. I didn't really watch too much of the game against, if I'm being honest, against Chicago the other day. But it makes a lot of sense, especially with Detroit playing so fast. Detroit, I talked about this, and one of the reasons why I laid the points with Houston tonight is because Detroit giving up 131 points per game, man. It don't matter who you are. They just giving it up. They can't guard anybody. They turning the ball over so much without Cade being there as well. I think that just continues to happen, especially against a team that's lost a couple games in a row. So, Cam being in, I think is a good look. The spread, being there, I think is a good look. Yeah, you just got to kind of figure out how you want to fade them because, like I said, they're getting smoked tomorrow when they go back to Boston. So could not talk anybody off of that at all. Unless they get Dylan Brooks back. It's even with Dylan Brooks back, they're still getting smoked tomorrow because they just don't got enough offense against good teams. But the way Detroit plays defense, unless something crazy happened, and crazy things happen all the time, Dream always say pigs do fly. Unless that happens, I do think that Houston should be able to win and cover this game. You see the totals dropping right now. That Indiana total dropped from 256 at open. I gave it out at 254.5. It's down to 249. That's continuing to drop right now. It's a movement going on right now for sure. Let's get Cam up. I was about to jump off, but we got a couple people. I'll get my guys up. I'll get Cam up and get Vaughn. See if I can get Vaughn up as well. What's up, Cam? Talk to me. I'm good, man. How you? Yeah, I'm good. How you?
Good, man. Good. So I actually unwrapped your money.
Okay.
Somewhere in those last 2 games against the Clippers in Los Angeles, like those 2 teams are far more talented than I don't care how well they're playing. We played both of those teams. I don't know about like far more talented, but you know what I'm saying. If you look at how we play those teams, I think we're just gonna show up and look at this game. We got cake in this stretch, so it's more of a feeling like on the ball. I'm sorry, I don't know. Same way, Stephen said, it's not, you give up the same play over and over, but if you keep winning, you got to keep playing it. I would get over it. The reason I'm taking that again is it's not about it's a race for taking assists over the last couple games. Last 5 is 6.4. And he missed a few. There's a few assists that if it was Pascal catching those balls, it's automatic. The rebounds, I think he's always going to be around 4 or 5. So for me, 8.5. It's at minus 113. I love it. I'm not on Quickly's rebound assists tonight. They did move the line to 9.5. So tonight, what I'm off for Quickly is just over his assists, 5.5. I like him to get to 6. His potential assists over the last 5 games has also been around 8.4. And kind of starting, obviously, the assists. Realistically, just the way our offense is, it's through osmosis. The way there's just so much passing that a lot of assists, our systems have all gone up through the whole team. So I like that a lot. I do think Pascal off a full couple of days rest is probably going to have a decent game today. That's a big reason why I like the Raptors. So those are my plays in the Raptors game. I want Wemby over 2.5 blocks. Got one this last game, but just been that's his bread and butter. That's at minus 120, 125 on the points bet. Everywhere else is minus 130. He's still basically in the lead for the blocks leader, and I do think that's probably something he wants. So the 3 number is the magic number to keep him in that race. Other than the last game, if you look at his numbers, even in the 24 minutes he's playing, you get 5, 5, 5, 7. So I really like him. You know, the Bucks and I took the Rockets. I'm on the Rockets minus 8.5 full game, and the Clippers minus 4.5%. Clippers are the 5th best first half team this year, and Grizzlies are the absolute worst. And I don't have my answers by me, and it's not even close. You would auto share if you just play for ATS against his friend, or you can find the numbers like Grizzlies are bottom tier. And I think one thing that you touched on is there's a lot of controversies that are going to happen. And I think the same way we look around, the reason I took the Rockets full game is because with Bojan, who's scoring, who's putting the ball in the net at this stage with the secure, just a trash franchise. But with the Grizzlies, I'm not saying they're trash franchise, but chemistry is going to be off. And honestly, I think when you start having a guy like Vince Williams being due to step in for Josh, can have a pretty big impact on your offense. So I like the Clippers to just get it. I don't like the Clippers full game because the Clippers don't like other spreads full game. So those are all plays for the day.
Okay. Hey, got some looks, Cam. Appreciate you for sharing those, my brother. Best of luck. Absolutely. So status alert. Status alert. LaMelo Ball not even rolled in yet. He's a game time decision today. So yeah, do with that information what you wish. Let's go, Vaughn. What up, Vaughn?
Yo, what's good, bro? You hear me good?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. What's going on, my brother? How you?
I'm good, bro. Glad to be able to tap in person. I know I've been in the chat heavy. But some I gave out already, man. Marcus Morris points. Over 7.5 on everywhere. FanDuel, Bet365. Last 2 games, he's had 15 and 17 with 9 shot attempts and 12 shot attempts. Last game was against Atlanta, who is a bad defense. And we see Sacramento tonight, who is another bad defense. And Marcus Morris just got a key to the city.
He did. I saw that, Vaughn. I saw he got the key to the city, bro. He from Philly. Him and his brother from Philly, right? I think they from Philly. Yeah, Breezy would know. I think they from Philly. Though. Yeah, they get. Hey, my man. That's what I thought. Breezy said she should have got to the key to the city before them.
We just have to keys. Look, I was wondering the same thing. So I'm gonna go with Marcus Morris tonight, man. And these last 2 games, he's hit 3 threes in both with 7 3-point attempts and 8 3-point attempts. So 15 attempts last 2 games. I like Marcus Morris to ball out tonight. If you got Bet365, his 15 is plus it's plus 525. So I'm gonna play a half unit on the 7.5.
laddering up slowly to 15. Probably play like 0.75 units in total. And you talked about it earlier. I'm going back to Ben Mathurin as well. Just against a bad defense. But yeah, man, I got a few plays tonight. One of my favorites also as well, man. I'm back to the Zubac rebounds as well. I'm gonna play those. I got some looks that I really like tonight. Gave them out in the Discord. Looking to keep it going, man. I had a lot of money on Phoenix yesterday at that trifecta spot. So looking to keep it rolling.
Nice. Okay. Hey, best of luck tonight, Von. I hope you cash in, my brother. Enjoy your weekend as well, man. Good to hear from you, Von. Feel like it's been forever. All right, that's it, man. Like I said, I capped the card last night. I gave out the looks last night to the members, gave them out to you guys today, but a lot of these numbers have moved. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys end up playing. If I was to add anything, I do like the Sixers on the money line. I do like the Jazz tonight as well. I love the look, but the looks that we've heard so far, couldn't talk anybody off what Godspeed said with Jalen Johnson, with Lauri Markkanen to go over their rebounds, but Dream Cam Whitmore look, I think, is clutch because they already got his 10.5 juiced at -120 at most places. So that's an indication that he's probably going to go over. So I love Cam Whitmore. I also love Ben Mathurin, like Von just said, but I'm not playing all those. Like I said, I already locked in 4 things. And I'm probably, honestly, live bets. Yeah, it's Friday. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to be chilling, watching the game. So if you're in the membership, y'all know I'm firing off the live plays all the time. So I will be firing off the live plays if it's something that, look like it's going to happen the way I think it's going to happen. You can get access to that. My membership link is on Twitter in the link tree. It's also posted in the YouTube description for the video as well. So check me out, man, if you guys, want to join. Aiden got ruled out just now. What else we got? We got everything just went away. So that's it. Best of luck. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a weekend show. I'm not even, honestly, I know it's a lot of games tomorrow, but I'm not sure who's all playing, so I got to check the slate. But definitely had a notification bell turned on, especially over on YouTube. What's up, huh?
For tomorrow, so I know you're saying that Houston is a 14-point dog tomorrow. I know they're in a bad travel spot. Like I know the situation. Boston just got that ass spanked. But do you know why this spread is 14? Like I capped it, and I came at like 10.5, 11. For Boston, you got a reason why this thing got all the way up to 14?
They may end up resting people. I didn't even look at the spot yet, but when you think about the Celtics, let's look at the Celtics real quick. So like Celtics is home favorite this season. The average line, what do you think the average line is, Von? When the Celtics done play 18 games at home this year, they 18-0. What do you think the average line is?
Probably somewhere around 6.5, 7.5.
That's what I was thinking. The average line is -9.8. so if you taking Boston at home, you automatically laying 10 off the rip. I mean, the last few games they was 10.5 point favorites against the Timberwolves. They didn't cover. They were 14.5 points against the Jazz, 17 against the Pistons, 11 against the Cavs, 12 against the Sixers, 12.5 against the Bulls. So I think that's a big part of it. When you factor in that their opponent is unrested, that line jumps to, it's still 9.5. But with the Rockets being in the spot that they're in, totally unrested, the books got to make it feel like if you land with Boston, you got to lay something big. They're not going to give you a regular 10 because that's what the regular line is. That's what you typically get. So, Rockets only 3-12 against the spread on 3-12 on the road in general. So I think that's a big part of it. Honestly, I think that's just a big part of it. And the Celtics coming off that embarrassing loss on national TV last night to Milwaukee. So I think all of those things considered, they'll probably be healthy, not going to rest anybody. And if the book's going to put the line out early, they're not just going to let you take Boston early, knowing that Boston don't have a game today, and you're just going to be able to ride in smooth sailing and get a good number with them. So 14.5 is a big number, but it's a big number for a reason. And honestly, with Boston laying 14.5, they've actually laid 14. This will be the second largest spread. They only laid 17 against the Pistons, but they have laid 14 against the Jazz. They won and covered. They laid 13 against the Pacers, won and covered. 12.5 against the Bulls, won and covered, and 12 against the Nets, won and covered. So they have no problem covering these big numbers either. But we'll see how it goes. Tomorrow is the weekend, so make sure you got some betting with caution because the weekend can get a little wild, man. But I hope I did a good job of answering that question, Vaughn. Best of luck to everybody tonight, man. I'll catch you guys potentially tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm out for the night.